You're listening to Valley Views. I'm Dee Dee Sturr, and my guests today are from My Life. Greg DeSherry is the Youth Empowerment Director for Magellan Health Services, and Matthew Horning and Jazmin Badia are chairpersons of My Life Arizona. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dee Dee.
Thanks for coming down. What is My Life, Greg?
Well, My Life is a youth leadership program that we started at Magellan just over 3 years ago. We just had our 3-year anniversary, and it's made up of youth that have experience with mental health, substance abuse, foster care, juvenile justice. And we really feel it's important to have youth voice help us guide services and programs and really everything we do. So this group's come together and they're doing some really amazing things and now starting to expand in some other parts of the country. And it's really exciting. We've got 2 awesome new chairpersons that are here with us today.
Well, I love that because not only are they awesome chair people, but they are also part of a program that's being modeled around the country. Why is My Life so successful, and why are places like Pennsylvania and Florida deciding they want your program in their states?
Well, I think more and more people are really recognizing, one, the value of having youth voice to help guide programs and services. Like I said, for so long we've just done programs, or here's a service, take it or leave it, and we haven't asked the youth what they really need. Another part of it is really seeing the healing power and giving youth opportunities to develop leadership skills, to be leaders, and to not only give advice as to how to improve programs, but actually to get in there and help us and work with us to improve programs and to help other youth. So that's what people, I think, are seeing across the country, and seeing this model as an opportunity to really to bring some positive things to youth in their community. So it's really been great to have some of these youth go out and inspire these other youth and see the faces light up in the crowd when they hear, Jazmin's story or, other youth stories, and it's pretty inspiring.
How have the youth changed the services that are provided? I mean, not only do they advise on behavioral health issues, community issues, and government officials, they talk to government officials about issues. How have they made changes?
Well, they've done a tremendous amount in terms of breaking down some of the stigma. So they get out and we go to schools or to juvenile detention centers or conferences, and are able to speak to youth and families and say, hey, I might have challenges, whether it be mental health or been in the foster care system, but I can still accomplish goals. I can still, accomplish my dreams. And that in itself really lets other people know, hey, it's okay, to seek help. It's okay to reach out and, admit that I might need some help. So that's great.
Jazmin, how did you find My Life? How did you hear about it, and what were your circumstances? What were the circumstances that led you to become a member of My Life?
When I was 16, I was put in foster care, and I needed help. I had issues with self-harm. I had issues with running away, and I needed some type of stable support that would be with me. And so I had a transitional worker come out, take me to my first My Life meeting. I pretty much sat in the back of the room. I was quiet, didn't want to socialize with anybody. A couple months later, I ended up actually running for a position for secretary. I got that position, and ever since then, I've been more and more involved with My Life. I had stable support, and now I'm, talking on the radio and, advocating for other youth who also need help to, with their recovery and to discover who they really are.
And how did you end up in foster care?
I ended up in foster care because of the sexual and all the abuse that was happening in my home from when I was adopted, and so it wasn't a stable and safe place for me to be in, and so I got removed from my placement. I got put in foster care, and here I am today.
Are you still in a foster home?
No, I turned 18, I aged out of the system. I am getting my own apartment. I'm going to school. I'm looking for a job. It's kind of hard out there. And
It is, but thank goodness you're one of the chairpersons of My Life, because when you stand up and you talk in front of all of these people and they see how articulate you are and how you are so passionate about this program, I know that's going to open doors. So, all right, sorry, keep going. We digress.
And not only that, I took my peer support training, and now I'm able to go out there and actually, help out other youth, help out the adults who, have a hard time with their recovery and their discovery, and be able to, give back to the community for what they have given to me.
Have you been able to counsel the foster care system and advise the foster care system on how they can make things better for kids like you?
I have been out to the state capitol, talked to representatives and legislators about ways that they could make the system better for youth. issues involving the budget cuts, how that affects us, and how that, affects our future, and how, they could pretty much make it better for us.
Are there simple things that the legislature can do to make things better for kids in foster care? Did you have an opportunity to talk about that?
I did, and one thing that they could do is pretty much not cut our money so much.
But you didn't have a recommendation like, okay, when kids are picked up, this is the best way to handle the kids, and this is the best way to process the kids, and don't ask kids the same question 10,000 times. I mean, did you have recommendations like those, like concrete things that they could do to make sure that a person in your situation didn't have to go through a whole rigmarole, maybe streamlining the system?
And one thing that I pretty much, advise them is my own personal
Experience.
Yeah. And just telling them, hey, like when I was put in that group home or that foster home, of course I was going to be upset. Of course I was going to be depressed and go through, mental challenges and emotional challenges just because I was taken away from my family. And so instead of just giving a kid medication and thinking that they all need counseling or that they're bad and that they don't need help or they're just going to be left there, why don't you try talking to them and asking them what they want, asking them what they need to recover and pretty much, get on with their life and have a, stable and healthy, future.
Sounds pretty basic, doesn't it? But I'm sure it would solve a lot of ills if they just asked that basic question. Matthew, how about you? How did you end up with My Life?
I ended up with My Life. I was volunteering with a few other organizations out in the valley, and I was put on the streets. I was kicked out of an organization I was living with because I wasn't abiding by their rules, and I was just not doing good. And I was living out on my own, just walking the streets for about 2 months.
How old were you?
I was just turned 18 that month that they kicked me out, so it was like, happy birthday, goodbye.
But I guess you weren't making it easy for them to have you around, maybe.
No, I was being bad.
Maybe this was a two-way street.
Yeah, I know I deserved it. Looking back, I was like, wow, I was being dumb. I had it all set. I had 3 square meals a day. I had an apartment of my own. I had everything I could have wanted, and I said, I want more. I just don't want to do the work to get more. And I ended up on the streets. But I ended up with My Life because I had a worker who said, they have free pizza. And I started
Greg,
going.
you are one smart man. You're feeding these kids? That's definitely a draw.
Exactly. I started going because I just wanted dinner. I was eating Cheetos every day of the week, so, pizza was a huge greatness in my life.
Yeah, it was melted cheese instead of powdered cheese.
Oh, yeah. Cheetos after a little while just taste nasty. But,
and the residue on your fingers, no good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're homeless and you can't take a shower, it becomes pretty evident you eat a lot of Cheetos pretty quickly. But, I didn't really start really participating in My Life, more of just sat and just really watched. I didn't really just start getting really active in it until about 2-3 months ago. When I really just wanted to step up and say, I can help this program. I've seen it help so many other people. I'd like to be able to do something with it. So, I mean, I don't know, I just really wanted to do something with my life. And My Life is a great way to start that. So
when you're not at My Life meetings, what are you doing?
I'm a full-time college student. I go to Phoenix College. I actually just got back from visiting some family I'd never met in Colorado. I just got back yesterday at 1 o'clock. So, I've been running around ever since. But, I don't know, I love volunteering. I do a lot of that. When I'm not at school, my friends live 3 hours away by bus because I don't have a car. I can't pay for gas money. On $700 a month, you live on the bare bones. But
you're living within a budget, which is a
yeah.
fantastic skill.
Yeah, I mean, you learn a lot in the first few months. Some kids, they get, the CPS subsidy, which is $712 a month or $715 a month maximum. And then you can get college fund money as well. And a lot of people have the habit of going, ooh, wow, look at all this extra cash. I've never had this much money in my pocket before. And they vanish. And, they're really cracking down on that, which is good because I did it. And I had such a hard time getting into an apartment after that. Because they were like, if you do this again, if you even mess up a little bit, you're done. So I've been really just forcing myself to go to school. My lowest grade right now I think is an 89%, which I'm not happy with because I should have an A in that class. And
okay.
Life's getting good and getting better. So
what are you majoring in?
I'm going to get my associates in arts, just a bland associate's degree, and then I'm going to get my bachelor's in psychology. I don't know which form yet, and then I want my my master's in secondary education.
How about you, Jazmin? What are you majoring in?
I want to be a veterinarian.
All right. Okay, so you have an important event coming up Saturday, April 23rd. Tell our listeners about that.
Pretty much, My Fest is a festival for youth of all ages and families and everybody to come out. It's a music and art entertainment and youth involvement festival. And pretty much what we do is we try to go out there and we have games and food and entertainment out there for, to draw in the crowd and to pretty much lower the stigma in the community. Try to, have something for youth and families to do to keep them, either busy or keep them on the right track. We have, great resources out there to, go out. We have massaging. Last year we had belly dancers and people who blow on fire and make huge, fire clouds and stuff. and
don't blow their heads up and their hair on top of their head at the same time.
We also have a mini My Life land for little kids, and what that is we have a little a kid area for the kids to have jumpy jumpies and have balloon tosses and stuff like that for or face painting to keep them busy, keep them families entertained and together.
Mm-hmm.
And you have bands and all sorts of other things.
Oh yeah, we have a ton of stuff going on. We have they're a dance group called Break Street, and they have, I think he's like 7 or 8, and he can dance better than me, and it's kind of scary because I'm 19. I can stand there and look at him and go, I'm never going to be able to do that. And he's 8. But it's the greatest thing about it is we call to everybody. We say, if you think you have a child with this, or if you know a neighbor with something like this might be going on, come here, grab some forms. We have, I think it's 30 or 40 different organizations coming this year.
Yeah, closer to 80 actually.
Closer to 80, wow.
And we really reach out and we really encourage any agency that has opportunities for youth to get involved in things to come out, set up a table, give out information, because we want the youth and the families to be able to come out, have an awesome, fun day, but walk away with some concrete things that the youth can get involved with afterwards. So whether that be faith-based groups, YMCAs, Girl Scouts is one of our big partners this year. So
you also have 2 really interesting speakers who will be featured at the My Life, My Fest. Who wants to tell me about those?
I will.
Okay, Jazmin, go for it.
The first person that we're going to have is Daniel Hernandez. He is the intern for Gabrielle Giffords.
Oh, yeah, he saved her life.
And as we all know, she's a congresswoman of Tucson. And he's going to be out there. He's also a big advocate for the LGBTQ community, which is a big plus for a lot of the youth out there because a lot of our youth are in that criteria. And not only are the other youth, but me, myself, as being, 18, being a youth and being gay and having the challenges of being, bullied and stuff, he's a great person to talk to, a great person to, advocate with and pretty much, learn things from him.
So that people don't feel like they need to be stigmatized because that is what their lifestyle just happens to be.
Pretty much not only being stigmatized, but also being, treated differently, which is also part of the stigma, or being bullied, like we all learned before, it leads to, bad things. And he's a great person to, have and be able to, come out and speak to the youth because a lot of the kids have a hard time opening up to the community. And so not only is he part of that, he's also, a huge hero. He saved, one of our Congress woman, and he just seems like a great person to be out there and to socialize with. So.
And represent the organization and also hopefully inspire other kids to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, and he's a great role model. So that's.
What about Anthony Robles? He's also going to be featured.
yeah, we're very excited. One of Arizona State University, we have a national wrestling champion in the 123-pound category, and that's a huge feat in itself. But he was born with one leg, and he's competed against the best in the nation and persevered and was a high school champion and now the NCAA wrestling champion. And he's been preparing through this time to become a motivational speaker. So he's going to come out and share his inspiration with the youth, which is super exciting because just for them to be able to hear from someone who's overcome a challenge as significant as that, and not just gotten by, but has risen to the top of an extremely competitive sport like that is amazing.
So he's going to be there as well as Daniel Hernandez.